Hey, Trip Kramer here from tripadvice.com, and on today's video I want to talk about a study that I found. This is a study done by the popular dating app OkCupid. And what OkCupid found was that women find 80% of men unattractive. Now, some of you may understand this harsh reality. Maybe you've learned this before. Maybe you're experiencing it. Maybe you're on the dating apps and you're saying to yourself, I'm a pretty good-looking guy. I have some good photos here. Why am I not getting any matches? So maybe you're experiencing this yourself. So I wanted to dive in today and talk about what's going on in society, what changes are happening, and also dissect why women are finding most men unattractive. There's a lot of reasons why. I must say this first. Let's just make sure to not play victim, because this can happen very fast. We see a study like this, we learn about this, we're understanding female nature, and we start to play the victim because we start to say, oh, women are the problem. And let me tell you something. Yeah, I do think in a lot of cases that women are making dating definitely a bigger struggle. We'll go into that in just a second. But we can't play victim. I mean, you can if you want to, but then you won't really get results in your dating life. So if you're looking to get results, if you're looking to date, if you're looking to meet a woman, and you start blaming others, that means that you're basically saying that you don't have control over the situation. And when you're saying to yourself that you don't have control over a situation, that means you're saying that you can't change it. So something to think about there. Now let's kind of dive in. First of all, you have to understand female nature. No matter what, across the board, for centuries and centuries, millennia, women have always been pickier than men. Or we can even say they've been more selective than men for a few reasons. One, if they sleep around too much, well, what's the consequence there? They get pregnant, right? So that's a pretty big consequence. A man can have as much sex as he wants, and obviously he will not get pregnant. So a woman has to be more selective because she wants to make sure that she is going to have a child that she rears that is very healthy and has the genetics to make sure that they survive and that they're strong. So she's going to be trying to pick the best suitor, and that's the one that she's going to want to be with. So bottom line, female nature, women have always been more selective than men because of that reason. We can go deeper into this too. Women, I would say, are probably even more selective nowadays because of slut shaming in our society. It doesn't look good on a woman if she's slept with, 50, 100 men. But for a guy, we get congratulated, we get, cheers for that. So it's a lot different for women. But either way, female nature, they're going to be more selective. Now, we're in 2022 and things have changed. Now women have more options than they've ever had in their entire life. Why? Mainly because of online dating. I think we can add a little bit in there because of technology. So it's just easier and more available for women to meet more men, and of course for men to meet more women. But online dating has drastically exaggerated the options for women, because an average woman, when I say an average woman, I mean an average looking woman, so picture that in your mind, can go onto a dating app and she can put up even average pictures and she'll get a lot of men who are going to go after her. So what does this do? This sort of inflates her ego, but very bottom line, it gives her this sense that she has so many options. So now her female nature has made her more selective, plus she feels she has more options. So what does that do? Well, let's talk about you for a second. Let's imagine you had 1,000 women coming at you. What would you do? You'd probably be picky. Of course you would. Who wouldn't be? With all the options, you're going to be pickier. We're more picky when we go to the grocery store. We're more picky when we look at a menu that's so big. You want to get the best, right? You have all the options, so why not try to get the best? So now, more women are going to be more selective because they have more options, and on top of the fact that they're selective already. So that's why when you see a study done by OkCupid that says that women find 80% of men unattractive. That's because they are going for the top of the top. Now, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole. I've talked about this in other videos, but this is causing even more problems because now it's causing more women to be single into their 30s and even 40s. And one of those reasons is because they're pickier. Now, you get a lot of interesting feedback from other women who say, we're not getting pickier. There's just a lot of bad men out there. But this is false. They think that there's a lot of bad men or unattractive men, right? 80% of men are unattractive only because they have more options. There's a really good book you should check out. It's called The Paradox of Choice. And I'll spoil it for you now. It talks about the paradox of choice. The fact that when one has so many options, it makes it harder to choose. Just like, again, you go to a grocery store and you got 7 different types of mayonnaise and 20 different types of cereals. Unless you know your favorite, of course, it just makes it harder to choose. There's so many options. You might be someone who's what's called a maximizer, and you are going to be trying to get the best. And that's what women are doing because they have those options. So what are we going to do with all this information? What's the point of even knowing this? Because you'd think to even know this, it just brings you down. But you have to be aware. You have to be conscious. You have to be awake to what's going on because the reality will help you. So if you're a guy right now who's getting really terrible results with online dating and with meeting women, it might be because of this fact. So what do we do with this information? Do we give up? Well, I know some of the MGTOW guys are, so peace, and they're going to give up. But there's also a lot of guys that we've actually worked with in the Trip Advice coaching program who were able to optimize everything about themselves to make them more attractive. Their behavior, their grooming, and their style, specifically on dating apps, their photos, the things that they're going to say, the different mindsets. Here's the reality, my friend, and I don't want you to opt out of dating. I really don't. The reality is, in 2022, you need a lot of volume. And I've said that before, and I'll say it again, and it's the most important thing to know. You need a lot of volume. You need to be swiping at least a half an hour a day. You need to be going out to events and meeting women in person. You need to increase your volume so that you have a better chance of meeting a great woman. We didn't have to do this 30 years ago. There wasn't online dating. We had little events where people would get together. You'd go to bars, you'd meet a woman at some event, networking, who knows. People would have singles gatherings a lot. So all that would happen because we didn't have any other ways of meeting people. There was no online dating. So that has, unfortunately, gotten to the point where it's made women even more selective, and we have to just get more volume and then put in the work to do so. We do help you with this, by the way. We have a coaching program. We coach people on how to be more attractive, to have more attractive behavior, to be able to understand what it means to attract a woman, to understand deeper into female nature and what triggers attraction. And even average guys can get results and be able to attract better women in their life. If you need help, I'll put a link down below. But even more important, I want you to tell me what you think about this study. I know we're going to get a lot of negative comments, but let's try to remain positive. And I want you to write down below, tell me what you think about what's going on here.